Hi, I'm Susanna Kalcic, and you're listening to Life in Practice podcast. I'm curious about the big questions in life and how we can experience more meaning and fulfillment every day. Join me as my guests share their challenges, successes, and what it means to put our purpose, our values, and our lives in practice. Hello, and welcome to Life in Practice podcast. This is your host, Susanna. Today, my guest is Brian Skelton. Brian has had a stutter since he was a child, and now he is a distinguished Toastmaster. He also mentors and supports others who stutter as well. Welcome, Brian. So great to have you on here. Brian and I actually met through Toastmasters, King Speakers to be more precise, which is a specialist club for people who stutter or have social anxiety. So, Brian, how did you end up in King Speakers?
Thank you very much, Susanna, for inviting me. It's very nice. King Speakers, I first went along when I was invited when the club was starting in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I was invited along because I was already in Toastmasters, so I had a bit of knowledge of Toastmasters, and I was asked to help out at the club to start with by doing a few speeches and just helping out generally. But then I joined. I like the club so much that I joined.
Yeah, and you're still there, just like me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always like this, though. There was a time when you were probably going to something like Toastmasters would have been a worse nightmare for you.
Oh, yes.
So tell me a bit, Brian, what was it like growing up? And because you said, how old were you when your stutter started? Can you take us back a bit to that time?
Yeah, my stutter, I believe it started when I was about 7 years old, because my mother passed away when I was 5.5, and my father had a heart attack when I was about 7. And I believe that's when my stammer started. It was obviously it affected my older brother and 2 older sisters as well, but it affected me because I was the youngest I am the youngest in the family. So I think it affected me that way.
Yeah, that can happen with some people. They say from traumatic events can cause that, and that certainly is such a traumatic thing to happen to a young child.
That's right, yeah.
And did you start stuttering straight away, or did it kind of happen a bit afterwards? Like, what was going on then?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I know my sister told me that I did start to stammer around about that time, and I think it affected me in that way, and I did. And then when I was 8, I went into Dr. Leonardo's, which is a children's home, and it was a sort of year later that I went in. But I found with my brother as well, I went with both of us. He's a few years older than me, so we both went in at that time. And my 2 older sisters were deemed to be old enough to stay in the house, and my uncle looked after them. And because they was sort of 16 at the time, so they was going to school.
Wow. So what was that like growing up? Because you had so many things to cope with at the same time, like being in a children's home, obviously grieving the loss of your parents, and then having this stutter as well that you had to figure out how to cope with. Like, it just seems like so much for a young child to be dealing with. How on earth did you manage?
Yeah, it was a lot at the time, from what I can remember. There was, and something that I can clearly remember, and it's still sort of to this day, is that when I first went into the home, I wet the bed, which was, when you think about it, it's not surprising after all the things that had gone on in such a short time. And some of the children would go around singing, Brian's wet the bed, wet the bed. And that sort of, I think that was the start of being sort of picked on. And I really felt that even that age, I felt like people was picking on me because of my stammer.
Wow, that's a really tough environment to be in. But you had your brother there. Was he supporting you through that, or did you feel like you had to handle that situation by yourself?
Yeah, he did support me up to a point, I think, but because he was that much older, he wasn't there that long because he was working. So he was, I think he was there maybe for a couple of years, and then he left. And I think it was at that point that I really found it hard because without him there and being on my own, obviously I had contact with my two sisters.
Yeah, but it's not the same because they're
No.
not there with you, are they?
No, that's right. Because I can always remember as well, my older sister, she told me that she used to make me sing if I if I got stuck on saying something. And as you may, as you will know, if you stammer, then you can sing and you don't stammer. So
yeah, it is I think stuttering is such a strange condition. It just doesn't really make any sense sometimes how it works and why you stutter at certain points and why you don't. And I think another one as well is when we're alone, we don't stutter as well very often.
That's true, yeah.
So, Brian, then how did you find the strength to cope with that situation? Did you find that your stutter made it difficult for you to make friends with other people? Because I imagine all of the children there were in a very similar situation that you find yourself in. Did you find that through that experience you were able to bond with them a bit better because you had shared experiences, or?
Yeah. I think I did actually. I had a couple of close friends there. I remember at the home, and we sort of one boy I can remember, David. He was a bit bigger, should we say, bigger,
Yeah.
a big size,
Yeah.
and he used to get a lot of people taking the mickey out of him because of his size, and people taking the mickey out of me because of my stammer. And I remember we used to walk to school and we'd take the mickey out of each other. So I think that sort of helped in a way.
Yeah, I think having someone that you can also who understands what you're going through, but also that you can have a laugh with as well. Because sometimes, we all have our troubles, but sometimes a good sense of humor can really help you cope to get through those times.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it does. It's helped me a lot actually. I've got a weird sense of humour.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. So then, what was school like?
When I was 11, I went to an all boys school, a secondary school, and I found that really hard when I first went there, because I was still at the home at that time, and we used to all wear, people in the home, we had these all had the same sort of shoes and socks, and so the other boys would go around saying, oh, well, he's from the home, because there's a few of us there from Dr. Nardo's at that time that went to the same school. So they'd go around saying, oh, he's from the home, and that sort of thing. So, and then I used to get into a lot of fights because the other boys knew how to wind me up about my stammer. and not that I could fight at all, but I used to get into these fights, and some of the teachers would say, "Not you again, Skelton."
Yeah.
It become a bit of a joke, but it wasn't really that funny, to be honest. But it did. I do remember that.
Mm. Yeah, that's must have been really tough because yeah, I'm just like trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm just trying to imagine like how difficult it must have been for you, and how on earth do you find some like confidence in yourself and build up your self-esteem when there seems to be so many things going against you?
Yeah, I think that I did during that time. I think that that was my sort of strength. It come out that it helped me, but it was think that sort of thing just did make me come out of my shell a little bit, because I had to fight for myself or put up with these things. And there was a lot of swearing going on in those days.
Yeah.
Because
I know.
another thing, you'll know yourself that if you swear, you don't stammer or you shout.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, when you feel really angry, the stammer
yeah.
doesn't come out as much, does it?
No,
But obviously, it's not a way to be going about the world, is it?
not really. No, not.
Fighting, shouting, and swearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, people might get the wrong idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, and did anybody at the home or at the school try and help you with your speech or with your situation? Like, did they suggest any speech therapy, or did they try and help you in any way?
Not really, to be honest, because I think it was at that time there wasn't so much known about stammering, and there wasn't the help about that there is nowadays, because I'm talking the sort of early 60s, so it's quite a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, I mean, a condition like stuttering's been around since time began, or since humans were speaking. So, yeah, it is a bit unfortunate that people still don't even know exactly what the cause of it is, and how to improve it. But I remember you telling me something. One of the carers at your home, where whenever you expressed how you felt about your stammer.
Yeah, it's when I was 11 it was, and she asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I remember saying to her, because we called them Auntie and Uncle, and I remember saying Auntie Pat was her name, so I remember saying to her, I want to speak like the other children. And I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something along the lines of, "Oh, yeah, I'll see what I can do to help you." So I really don't know what happened. But I remember saying as well, and then she said, "Oh, is there anything else you want?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to see the film Mary Poppins." No, not Mary Poppins. What was the other one? I can't remember the name of it now.
Is it with the same actress?
Is
it The Sound of Music?
The Sound of Music. That was it. Yeah, I remember saying I want to go and see that film.
Yeah. I suppose it's much easier to grant you the wish of going to see the film rather than helping you with your stutter.
Yeah. I think that they did try to help me. You know, they sort of slow down and things like that, or say that again, sort of thing.
But they were supportive, and they were patient with you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do remember that. Apart from obviously the other children, sort of taking the Mickey.
Yeah.
But that sort of thing happens nowadays. Children are like that. I know. I probably took the Mickey out of other people as well.
Yeah, that's true. But what about your teachers in school? Like, did it have an effect on your education and like taking part in classes?
Yeah, it did. It did happen. It did quite a lot, actually. I can remember when we had to read out in class that we read a book, and I was asked to read, and I can remember some of the other boys sitting behind me. They would be reading what I was supposed to be reading, and I don't really know if that helped me, to be honest, because I could hear their voices, and I was just trying to get through what it was I was supposed to read.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that one. I remember even like queuing up outside the classroom to go into English class. I always felt so sick, and I just thought, oh my gosh, will I have to read out? Will I have to do this? And just remember feeling really, really nervous, and especially when you like read around in a circle, you're just counting down, okay, it's going to be my turn, when is it going to be my turn, which bit am I going to have to read? And oh my gosh, yeah, I don't miss that at all. And I just wasn't paying attention to anything that was going on, because you're just so worried about will you be able to say all the words that you need to say. And as you know, as what you've said, being in school with children who aren't as understanding and who want to take the piss and all that. Because I remember one of my things is one of the kids used to say was like, you can't read because you're stupid because you're from a different country.
Oh right, yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, and it's and I think it's an important point to make, because like I didn't actually fight back. I didn't really say anything to that. I would have rather accepted that than say, well, actually, no, I'm not stupid at all. I just have a stutter. But the depth of shame there is in that you feel that you want to hide it all the time. So that's, when I look back on it now, I think, gosh, I should have told them off. But it just goes to show how powerful the shame of stuttering is.
That's right, yeah.
And what about yourself then? Did you try to hide it from other people?
I did actually, yeah. What I was told later was tricks. Avoiding words and saying different words. I found that I got very good at doing that. And as I got older, I can remember people looking at me thinking, what on earth is he talking about? Because I'd say maybe 4 or 5 words just to get one word out. And I can remember that quite clearly going around. And as you all know yourself, if you stammer, you're saying your own name is one of the hardest things for someone that stammers. And I can remember quite a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're going to say. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, quite a few years ago, someone asked me my name, and I said I was George, because I could say that easier than saying Brian. So I said, my name's George.
I remember there was a Fred there as well.
Oh, and a Fred. Well, George, Fred, yeah. Which was easier to say at the time. So it was probably Fred, actually, yeah. And this was a few years later. I could hear someone shouting out, Fred. I think, who's he talking to? And I realised he was calling me. So I went back to him, and we ended up in the pub, had a few drinks, and I explained to him about the stammer and that. And we had a bit of a laugh about it as well at the time.
Yeah, I know it's quite a funny situation to find yourself in. But yeah, I can completely understand when that fear and panic sets in. But then it's also, especially if you think, oh, I'm never going to see this person again, maybe.
That's right.
And you weren't expecting he's going to be shouting down the road after you.
No, that's right. That's true, yeah. No, yeah, when I think about it now, it was quite funny. He was shouting out, Fred, and I think, who's he talking to?
Oh.
Because mention it, if you stammer, I think you need to have a sense of humour. That really helps.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, I think, yeah.
It definitely does. But I guess when you're going through the pain, it's very difficult to find humor in it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Especially when you feel really alone in your situation. And from what I remember you saying before, you didn't know anybody that had a stutter when you were growing up.
No, that's true. I know. When I was at school, I didn't know anybody. I felt like I was the only one there. And the thing about not being able to say my name, I remember a few years later when I went on the Starfish course, 3-day speech therapy course, when I was 51 at the time. So it was. And I remember thinking that I was the only one that didn't know my name. But then I realised when I was on the course that it affects most people that stammer, not everyone, but I think most people that stammer have difficulty saying their own name. So at that time, I thought it was just me. I didn't realise it was everybody else as well.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of us. But what made you decide to go to Starfish at the age of 51?
It was at that time. To be honest, I got fed up with keep changing words, and though I was able to cope, I felt I really was getting fed up, and I just wanted to try and know what was going on, sort of thing, because I say keep swapping words and not saying what I want to say.
Did that make it difficult at work?
It did actually, yeah. And another thing, as you know, if you go out, I was used to go out to maybe a restaurant with friends, and I wouldn't be able to order what I wanted. I'd say, "Oh yes, I'll have that. I have the same as you." Or if I was having in a pub with some friends, I wouldn't order I'd say to someone, "Oh, here, I'll give you the money. You make the order, and I'm just going to go to the toilet," which I wasn't really, but I would just say that just so that they could order the drinks.
Yeah, there's if we avoid all those small things, we end up avoiding the bigger thing, and then it's like your life goes past and you've avoided so much and you're not really being true to yourself.
That's true, because I also remember at that time the Gareth Gates was on the Pop Idol, and I can remember watching that on a Saturday for quite a few weeks, and I remember thinking to myself, if he can do that in front of millions of people, knowing that there's all these people watching him on the telly, then it's about time I did something about my stammer. So seeing him, and he comes second, I think, in that contest.
Yeah, I think he
contest.
did. Yeah, I remember watching that as well when I was younger.
Oh, you must have been well young.
Yeah, I was quite young, but yeah, it was still because for me at that time, it was impressive, but because I still felt very, very ashamed and something that I would hide. I was more like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing, like I felt really embarrassed, but it took a while to work through that. But yeah, it's a fantastic thing that he did, and he went on to go to the Maguire program.
Oh, that's right.
Which is very similar to what you did at Starfish.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. They teach you a breathing technique, and that's sort of really helped as well. I use that technique to slow down, which is what I'm always being told to do.
Yeah. So what else did you learn at Starfish apart from breathing, and would you call them like block modification tools?
Yeah, block and release, and also I think the thing that helped me most was talking about my stammer, because I would never ever talk about it to family, friends, or anyone. And
why is that?
I think what you mentioned earlier about being ashamed, and I know when I was younger, my sisters used to say, "Oh, talk about your stammer," and I'd say, "No, leave me alone. It's my stammer. I don't want to talk about it." And I remember saying things like that, and I think that has helped me as well. And now talking about it really helps. So it felt a bit strange at first, thinking, "Oh, I'm talking about my stammer now," but it has helped a lot.
So what what was that like then, when you were in Starfish and you were around other people who understood what you were going through, and you actually had that space that you were able to talk about what was going on for you and how you were feeling?
Yeah, I think that's right. Talking to other people because they'd been in the same shoes or same boat as me, so they knew what I was talking about. So that really helped, talking to someone that has been there before and had done that. And I can remember on the first morning of the course, of the 3-day course, it was coming up for lunchtime, and we was doing these alphabet. We had started off with A, so we were saying words like apple, and then B went through the alphabet. And the lady opposite me that was helping me, she said, "Gosh, you just done all that?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, I don't really believe it that I've done all, gone through the alphabet like that." And I can, because it was close lunchtime, I remember I went up to my room and I just cried my eyes out. I just lay on the bed crying for maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Clearly remember that.
And were you crying, or was it like kind of joy because that you were able to actually say all those words, or is it just finally being able to share this part of yourself with other people who understand?
Yeah, I think it was that more than anything, sharing it with other people, that other people sort of understood what I'd been through. And I could clearly see that these other people as well, they was going through the same sort of thing as me, and emotional. There was quite a few of us crying.
Yeah, I know. It is very emotional, especially when you haven't had anybody throughout your life who really understands what you're going through. It means so much, and I think it's so important for you to open up about this as well, because I'm sure a lot of men in particular are kind of taught that, men don't cry, or you shouldn't show your emotions, but it's so important, I think, especially when it comes to your speech as well.
Yeah, I think that's true, because I know, like you said, a lot of people say that all men don't cry, but I mean, the lady on the course, she said grown men, or was it a real man cries, which she used to say, and I think that's true. You show your emotion.
Absolutely. I mean, it's human. That's what it is. Like we're not robots.
That's right.
We have feelings and emotions.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm very emotional. I cry at silly things. If there's a program on the telly, and I'll start crying. And
I know.
I personally don't think that's a bad thing. I know other people would say, "Oh, you grow up," or "show you're a man," or something. But I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely not at all. And if anything, it's healthy to show your emotions, because when you keep all that stuff in, it might come out in a way that you don't want to or don't expect to.
Yeah.
And that's not good at all. So let's.
I was just going to say as well, because there's so much stuff built up inside your head that when you finally get it out, it's a big release, because you've got all that crap in your head, all these years, all this stuff, and then you can finally talk about things that you would never ever talk about before.
Totally. And I think sometimes all that held emotion can actually make speaking more difficult, because you feel the tension in your body and in your voice. And did you find that your speech improved after you were able to be more open about it?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I did that. But find it really helped a lot, being able to talk about different things that I would never talk about before, because there was a lot of stuff up here that I'd never talked about to anyone. So being able to talk to someone really helped, because there was a lot of things. I know we spoke before about different things.
Yeah. And so did your speech actually improve? Did you feel that you stuttered less?
Yeah, I think I did actually. Yeah, I did stutter less. I still, because nowadays people say to me, "Oh, Brian, you don't stammer. Why do you still go to that starship?"
Yeah, Starship.
Yeah, it gets called all different
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of names, and I said, because because it's helping me for a start, and I like to help other people as well, like the empathy and that sort of thing.
Wow. And then, so what did your what was your life like then after you'd done that program? So were you more confident at work? Were you kind of going out of your comfort zone more? What did that lead to then?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I found that did help a lot, and I was I well, I trained to be a chef when I first left school, and I got made redundant from that job, and I ended up working in security. I was in a private security like company I worked for, and I remember one particular incident. Is probably what you're you're trying to get out of me.
No. I wanted to actually ask about, because at Starfish you heard about Toastmasters for the first time.
Yeah, that's right. I
But
did.
yeah, please, share whatever whatever's on your mind.
Yeah, when I was saying, when I was at work, I'll talk about Toastmasters, but this incident, because I know it affects a lot of people, not just people that stammer, but this sort of particular thing I'm going to talk about affects a lot of people. And I was during the job that I was doing, I had to I was at the reception desk, and I signed for a parcel that come in, and this parcel got lost, and I got the blame for it. My boss said, "Oh, you lost the parcel, Brian. You have to find it, because the company could lose the contract and it'd be your fault." And I knew it wasn't me that lost it, but this went on for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. It really affected me a lot with my speech, and some of the other people I was working with were saying, "Oh, but Brian, we're going to lose our jobs because of you," and they was really sort of taking the mickey, and I just felt really, really low, really low at that time, and I could hardly put 2 words together. But I wouldn't. Someone else said to me that I spoke to at the time. He said, "Well, why don't you just go sick?" I said, "No." I said, "I don't want to give other people the chance to take put me down anymore. I need to be at work, just to show them." And as I say, it just got too much for me. And one day I was supposed to be starting nights, because I used to do shift work. And instead of getting ready for work, I just went round the pub at lunchtime, and I had quite a few drinks. And this thought come into my head, because I was in the pub alone. I was just drinking alone. I really felt alone at that time. And I just started to drink. And I remember thinking to myself, I've had enough of this. I can't take this anymore. I'm going to commit suicide. And I went back to the flat, and I got went up to the attic in the flat, and I got a bit of rope out. And I sort of made a noose out of it, and I put a table and a chair. But before that, I went to the front of the flat and wrote a note, left it on the table, and then I left the door slightly open because I didn't want anyone to have to break the door down, to find me. So I left that slightly open. I then went back to the to where the rope was, got on the table and chair, and I put this rope around my neck. And I remember I was thinking at the time what I was about to do. I was going to kick the chair away, but then I heard this meow, meow. It was the cat from next door, Ginger. Used to call her Ginger. Well, because she was ginger, but she was sort of walking about. Because I used to feed her every now and again, so I knew what she was in for. And I remember thinking at the time, I can't hang myself and let the cat go hungry. So I took the rope off, and I fed the cat, and I sort of cuddled the cat and put her outside. And I can remember thinking at that time that bloody cat saved my life. And I was really tired, so I went back to bed, or went to lay on the bed and had a sleep. And the phone rang, and it was my boss at work. He rang up and asked me where I was. Well, why was I not at work? And I told him that I was really sort of ill and sick and didn't feel too good. And he seemed to accept that's why I didn't go to work. But he then mentioned that parcel had been found that afternoon. Someone had locked it in a cupboard. So after all that, I knew it wasn't my fault that parcel got lost. And I went back to work after that. Things seemed to get a little bit better, but I still had them memories, all that stuff that went on. But it really did affect me at that time.
Wow, that's just so powerful, Brian. And yeah, it just, God forbid, if that cat didn't come in, or what you would have done, or when you were in that state of mind.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I still don't know if I would have done it, obviously. But
yeah,
but obviously, when you're in that state of mind, you sort of you don't know what you're going to do at the time.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing this. I know it's a very difficult and emotional thing to talk about, and
that's right.
yeah, because depression affects a lot of us, and it's so important to know that we're not alone, because that's something that you've mentioned about you felt very alone, and that's I think one
right.
of the contributors to why you felt that you needed to go to extremes.
Yeah. I know. I've spoken to other people that stammer, and they've told me the same thing, that they've had thoughts about doing that. And I know I spoke to a lady quite a while ago, and she told me her story, which was sort of similar to mine. So I know it does affect people a lot, not just people that stammer, but a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think talking about it is so important, because people will realize it's not just them. And but what really strikes me through what you were saying was it actually in 2 points, is how you always think about other people.
Right, yeah.
And when you said about how you left the door slightly open so that people wouldn't have to have the inconvenience of having to break through the door. And then when you saw the cat, you thought, okay, who's going to take care of the cat? So you're always thinking about other people.
Yeah.
And that's something that really comes very strongly from who you are as a person. And I think, would you say that's one of your strengths, and something that helps you to keep going and have confidence in yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that is a good point. It does help, I think, because I like to help other people. Like at since I joined Toastmasters and going to King's Speakers, I like to help other people because I can see how much it helps them being at Toastmasters.
Mm.
And something that helped me last year, I did a talk at work, something I'd been wanting to do for a long time, but I hadn't actually had the courage to do it. And someone at Toastmasters helped me to write the story. And when I remember I first told him about the suicide thing, and he said, "Oh, that would be good to to talk about." And I wasn't sure at that time. I didn't really want to do that, but he sort of said, "Yeah, that will help you as well if you do talk about it and other people." So I think when I actually did that speech at work, that sort of helped because I got a lot of good feedback from that from people at work. I got quite a few emails that people sent me and spoke to me about, and someone said that it would help him and his girlfriend because she was having a sort of similar experience.
Mm. Wow, and just but the fact that you even gave a speech about it at work just goes to show how far you've come.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that would have been a worst case, like nightmare scenario for you.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Because having told people that I'm not going to talk about my stammer sort of years ago, then all of a sudden I'm standing up in front of an audience.
How many people were there?
But I think it was over 100.
Wow.
There's quite a few people, and they actually asked me to do it again because a lot of people had heard about it and they wanted to see it. So I did it again. They had what they call a morning slot, sort of 9 o'clock morning sort of talk, and they didn't have anyone else to do anything, so they asked me if I would do the speech again. So I did it again, and and that I think doing it the second time sort of helped as well.
Mm.
But I think because I've done it a few times at Toastmasters as well now, and the first time I got a standing ovation. I was really surprised about that, to be honest, because I didn't, because I've done it at King's as well. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember your speech was really, really powerful, and let's talk a bit about Toastmasters then. Were you at Toastmasters when this incident happened? Was that
No.
before Toastmasters?
Yeah, it was before Toastmasters, and before Starfish.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So was that one of was that one of the reasons why you decided to do something more about your speech or about your situation?
That was probably part of it as well. Apart from like I said before about swapping the words and putting up with a lot of stuff. I think that probably was one of the factors as well. Yeah, to do something about it.
Mm. And you've done very well in Toastmasters.
No, thank you.
Haven't you?
Yeah, thank you.
So as I mentioned in my introduction, you're a Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest award that any Toastmaster can achieve, and it's quite rare from what I'm aware of. Not many people reach that level.
No, I don't think they do actually. No, I think it's one of the main factors is takes time. It's a lot of hard work. I know some people can do it in a shorter time, but it took me 9 years to complete that. And for me to do something like that was a miracle. It taking all that time because I would never ever stick at things before. I'd join maybe a club or something, and that just probably wasn't true. But I think that people were taking the mickey out of me or laughing at me because of my stammer, and I would leave that sort of club or whatever it is I joined. So I'd never ever stick at anything.
So what made you decide to stick at this then?
I think it's because I knew it was helping me being at Toastmasters. It really does, and being able to project my voice, which is something that helps you when you stammer. So being in front of and not having a microphone, but being able to project your voice, I think that helps. That helps as well. So, because I remember one of the clubs I was a member of, we used to meet above a pub, or well, they don't now, but they used to meet above a pub. And especially in the summer, if the windows was open, you could hear all the traffic going past. And I remember someone saying to me once that they could hear everything I said because I used to project my voice above the traffic. But they said other people, they found it difficult to hear them because they didn't sort of project their voice. So that's something I was, really made me sort of, well, I don't know, smile, but made me happy that I knew that I was doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think as people who stutter, we so often quiet our own voices. Because sometimes there's that fear, if I really go in loud and project, and if I hit a big block, I'm just going to make a fool of myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it takes courage to do that. And but yeah, so what helped you the most in Toastmasters? Like, what helped to build your confidence and the will and the inspiration to keep at it?
I think it was because well, I was obviously doing it for myself, but I was helping other people as well. Because one of the projects you need to do is to be a area director, and that the area that I was the area director of wasn't an area that I was in. It was a different area because there's different areas in Toastmasters. This was area 33. So now I think it's because I had to go and meet these people and talk to them. And I made a point of actually going to them, not just phoning them up I made a point of going to see these people and to see what I could do to help them. So I think that helped, knowing that I had to push myself and to do that. Because otherwise, if it was in an area that I knew, I might not have been so much inclined to go out and to meet them. So I think that helped going to these different clubs. And I made a point of going, as often as I could.
Yeah, that's so important because as with anything, you need to keep practicing. You need to keep doing it. You can't just go to do one course or go to one meeting, do one speech, and bam, that's it. Because one of the things that I really really inspires me about Toastmasters isn't actually just about how when you see people going from where they started to where they are now, but actually when you see people who are accomplished speakers, even maybe do public speaking as their profession, they still consistently attend Toastmasters. Because I think I've heard someone compare it to like if you're going to the gym, like you need to keep going to get in shape, but once you're in shape, you need to still keep going to maintain that shape.
Yes, right.
Because even though like you got your Distinguished Toastmaster award, was it 2 years ago?
It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and you still attend Toastmasters regularly.
Yeah. I think it's I do. I think it's important, and I've joined Excalibur, which is an advanced club, because I think that I needed to push myself. So joining that club, I know when I first joined the Excalibur, I was really scared and really had to get out of my comfort zone. But not. I just want to mention this. I'm not showing off, but I was made when I was the area director. I was made the area director of the year.
Oh, brilliant!
And I can always remember I was actually at this conference when they was making these awards, and the lady who was the division director, she mentioned my name, and I nearly nearly fell out the chair when she said, when she mentioned my name, saying I was the area governor of the year. And I can remember going up and I was actually crying.
Oh, really?
And I was told by somebody later that a lot of other people in the audience was crying as well. Obviously, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But he told me that. He said people was really happy for me.
That's so nice. And like, so what did it feel like when you look back to how you were as a young boy, as a teenager, as a young adult struggling with your speech, and now it's like you're winning awards, and it's like you've made a complete turnaround.
Yeah. If I was told when I was at school that I'd be doing these things, I'd tell them to go away and not to be so silly.
Yeah.
I'd probably swear, but yeah, I'd tell them to go away. And yeah, I don't know. It's the having the confidence to actually do this. Something I know is, well, it's not just people that stammer, but even accomplished speakers are scared. But Toastmasters, I remember one Toastmaster told me that it took him about 6 weeks before he actually stood up, or been to 6 meetings before he actually said anything.
Wow.
He said he was sitting in the background and he was, that sort of scared of doing anything.
But did he have a stutter or not?
No.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like when you hear those kinds of stories of people who are fluent, that you think, gosh, because I used to think, well, what's your problem? Like you can speak, you like, well, what is there to be scared of? You know. But it's a real fear. I think it's like I can't remember where it ranks in terms of like in terms of the people's biggest fears, but I think it's very high at the top. People are terrified of it.
Yeah, I think it's one of man's biggest fear is public speaking. Yeah. And I think as well, because people that stammer like you and myself, we want to do it, and it pushes us that little bit more because we know why we want to do it, and it's really helping us. So we're pushing ourselves to actually do it.
Yeah, absolutely, and like that's just what I was thinking as well. Like, if you did not have a stutter, do you think you would have gone this far with your speech?
No, probably not. I'd probably been, why would I want to do that? Yeah, whatever. Why would I want to do that sort of thing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think that it has helped with that. And I know as well, you'll probably know this, when you do table topics, you're asked a question off the top of your head. And I know I've been to quite a few other clubs, and you can see people sitting in their chair, hiding, not wanting to be asked. But at King Speakers, everybody wants to do a table topic.
Yeah, I think most people.
Yeah, I find that astonishing that people that stammer want to get up there and they want to push themselves. Because I think with King Speakers, it's only one of 4 clubs in the world that
that's right.
People that stammer or social anxiety. So to be in that sort of environment when you know everybody else is there for the same reason that you're there, I think that really helps. Definitely.
I think especially being around people who are really proactive about their challenges. Because I know that I've heard that there are some support groups that just kind of complain that, they hate stammering and they hate this and it's so hard. And which it is, but at the same time, we have to get on with it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
We have to find a way. And yeah, that's what I really love, the proactive mindset.
Yeah, because I know when I first joined Toastmasters, Kings wasn't about at that time. So I started off with, hate using this, normal, a normal club, normal people.
Yeah.
and I found, because I don't think I wouldn't have gone unless it was my friend Barry who introduced me to Toastmasters. I met him at Starfish, and he was helping to start a new club at that time at Chelmsford. And I don't think I wouldn't have gone on my own. I went because he's helped me a lot, actually, not just through Toastmasters but through other sort of things. And I'm still good friends with him today, so
Oh, good.
it's really helped a lot. And I
Yeah.
think you need that. You need to have people to understand you and to help you.
Absolutely. Isn't there that saying, no man is an island?
That's right. That's right. It's like being helping, like being a mentor. I think you need someone to do that, because I've got a mentor at Excalibur, and he's helped me a lot as well, to write these sort of speeches.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important to be in that supportive environment.
Yeah, that's right.
And so just thinking back, what have been like some of the key practices which have helped you to overcome some of your main challenges and also attain the successes that you've had?
I think maybe what's helped me is that I know that I'm helping other people. I think that sort of helped me push myself that little bit more, because I want to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I was at King's, young lady that come. Well, you know her, Tia, and somehow we sort of hit it off, and I started to help her. So I remember when she first time at the club during the break. I remember her walking up and down, going, "I can do this. I can do this."
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what sort of made me think, oh, yeah, I could help this, could help her. And she did the area director job as well for one of the things she wanted to do. And I was an assistant director, so I helped her that way.
Yeah, so is it like, because I know some people say that they learn more when they're teaching and supporting someone else.
Yeah.
Would you say that's right for you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I'm putting into practice what I sort of learnt myself.
Absolutely.
And I remember the first time someone asked me about Toastmasters, and I sort of just went into one and told them all about it. And I thought to myself, oh, gosh, was that me? actually saying something that made sense to someone, and people asking me for help.
That's brilliant. Yeah, because it shows how far you've come as well, that people look up to you and respect you for what you have achieved.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that's helped, and it's even. I know some people join Toastmasters for work. They might have to give a speech or want to do a different job. But I didn't do it for that reason to start with. But it has helped me at work, and mainly with my confidence, it's helped me with that. But it has helped at work as well now. I find that does help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with the skills that we learn in Toastmasters, they don't really mean much unless we're able to apply them in real life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you can do these different things at Toastmasters, but if you do bring them to outside, like work, like doing a table topic, that helps, because your boss might ask you a question and you've got an answer off the top of your head.
Absolutely. And I think even like with this podcast that I'm doing, had I not gone to Toastmasters for all those years to build my confidence. This is like this is like one of my worst nightmares, having this microphone in my face, having all these cameras on, you know. If you told me like even 5 years ago that that's what you're going to do, I'm like, no. Who are you kidding? Like, no way.
No, it's brilliant, because I remember when you first become the president of King's.
Yeah.
Something funny you said. Remember you saying, I'm a young lady, or we've had middle-aged men being president. Now it's time for a young lady to take over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was, because I remember my first time at King's Speakers. I was also invited by a friend, and I was just like, right, I'm going, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just going to sit at the back. And yeah, it's amazing when you see that transformation within yourself.
Yeah.
And the only way, I'm sure you would agree, is that I was able to go from just being too petrified to say anything to then being the club president, is just showing up consistently. Like, I don't think, I think it's only, so I've been going for just over 5 years. And this year was, I think, the first year that I missed 2 consecutive meetings, and that was because I was away like on a course, and then I was doing something else, just how it had worked out. Otherwise, like I'm there every week, unless I'm on holiday or if I'm not well. But because
I remember when I first joined Toastmasters, and if I missed a meeting, I'd felt like I'd sort of gone backwards.
It's so true. You can feel it. And even if when we have that break over Christmas, there might be like 2 or 3 weeks, three or 4 weeks sometimes between meetings. And then when I come back, I do feel a bit like, I do feel that fear again sometimes. And it just goes to show, like, you have to put in the practice consistently.
That's very true. I think you need, even for people that don't stammer, I know it's the same for them as well. They've actually said that to me, like the same sort of thing.
Fantastic. And so you've talked about like what things have helped you to overcome your challenges, and what has brought you success, and which is, you said, like, you it helped you a lot to be able to support and help other people. And just to, as we're getting to wrap up, I just want to ask you, how do you practice your most important values? Or maybe tell us, like, what kind of things do you value the most? And I think just from listening to you, I think 2 things really strike me, and that's courage and empathy. Is there anything else to add to that?
No, I think you're right. It is the courage, because I like to push myself now. If any chance I get to do something different, like like sitting here doing a podcast. I think I need to push myself, even though other people say that I don't stammer. So why do you need to do this? I think I need to keep pushing myself, and it is courage, but courage, I'm a bit scared of heights, so I've done a couple of things for that. That have helped me with that.
What did you do?
I went to Battersea Park to Go Ape. Did that, and I went with a friend, and there's 3 levels on that Go Ape, where you get a safety harness, and you walk in different heights across different sort of things. And there was 3 levels, like obviously the first and second level, which he did with me. And when it come to the third level, he said, "Oh, that's it." He said, "I'm giving up. I'm not going." So I said to him, "No," I said, "I can't give up. I've got to go on to that next level." And he turned around and he said to me, "I thought you might say that." Well, he said, "I knew you'd say that." Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I need to. If I start something, I need to push myself to, even though my knuckles were white because I was hanging
Yeah.
on to the ropes.
Yeah, yeah, I've done that go ape thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is scary,
Yeah.
especially in the last levels. But that's exactly the right spirit to have. You faced your fear head on,
Yeah,
and
face the fear and do it anyway.
yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah. But also, like, what are the kind of small ways that you practice courage? Because I know you shared some examples with me before.
Oh right, yeah. It's if I still have some feared words and letters, and one of them words it's to do with food, and I go into this cafe every now and again. I went in there this morning actually today before the podcast, and the word is tomatoes. So I order, if I'm going to order something, I'll make sure I have tomatoes with it as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I find yeah, and I've actually when the waitress who serves me, it's normally the same one. I mentioned this to her. I said that I stammered on. I've got a stammer, and tomatoes is one of my feared words. And she said, "Oh, I understand." She said, "Don't worry, dear, that's not a problem." So she's so being able to talk to someone or say to someone else about that as well has helped.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I really like that example because it just goes to show how we need to practice this at every opportunity that we have.
Yeah, and there's another example that if I could use at work, because I'm working security. I'm a security supervisor or line manager as well, and we have to use a radio. And there's one word. I don't think I'm breaking any rules by saying this.
Yeah.
There's one word that I use is received. I don't know why I get stuck on saying that. And someone else said to me, "Oh, use a different word." I said, no. I need to use that word because, well, you'll know yourself that if you avoid a word, you're going to be thinking, "Oh, why didn't I say that?"
Absolutely. It's not even like if you avoid that word, then you're going to avoid one more. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
Once you start avoiding words, you start avoiding just speaking or whole entire situations.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah. I try. Even if I get stuck on a word, I take a breath and then go for it again. I think because but I learned that on the Starfish course as well. I see other people doing it. They get stuck on a word, they stop, take a breath, and then go again.
Wow, fantastic. Well, we're coming to the end of our time, Brian. Is there actually there is a question I wanted to ask you. So for people who don't have a stutter, what would you want them to know about stuttering that maybe they don't, that you think that they might not be aware of?
I don't. Well, if you're opposite a person that stammers, then give them the time to say what they want to say. Give them eye contact because the eye contact helps as well. I remember when I was on a young person's Starfish course for 11 to 16-year-olds. There's this young boy there, and I said to him, "Oh, give me eye." He said, "I don't like looking into men's eyes." I said, I don't actually, to be honest, but
Yeah.
but I said that will help you if you do that. And that's, I think that's part of the learning. Yeah, and I think if people, give people the time to say what they want to say,
Mm-hmm.
and not rush people.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes I still do it. I talk too fast because other people are speaking fast, so I feel like I have to do that. But then I keep reminding myself, no, slow down, because that's how you speak, and that will help.
Absolutely. And what words of encouragement would you have to other people who stutter?
I would say try and push yourself, push out your comfort zone. It's not the end of the world. You stammer, so what?
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
going to say, so what? Yeah, just do what you want to do. If you want to go to Toastmasters, you can. There's lots of people that go to Toastmasters, so you can always find out about Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to join a support group, or go to Starfish or Maguire, because and there's other things as well that you can, different groups that can help you.
Mm-hmm.
So so if find out what, because you can get on the internet. There's lots of different things that you can put in. If you just put in stammering, you'll get lots of different things will come up to help you. It's just one, when I finished the 3-day speech therapy course, I did just come back to me. I made up this poem. Can I?
Oh, yeah, please do, yeah.
I made up this poem because you're taught a breathing technique to take a breath before you speak. And I made this when I got home on the Friday. I started to write things down, different things that I wanted to do and things that would sort of help me. And I made this poem up. It's when I use control, I can say what I want to when I want to. With control comes confidence. With confidence, I can do what I want to when I want to. No more anger. No more tears. No more frustration. Be positive. Be a proud recovering stammerer.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Oh,
lovely. A really, really nice way to end the conversation as well. Thank you so much, Brian, for sharing all of that. I really, really appreciated your story, your experiences, all the things that you've learned. It's been really, really such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me and letting me say them things. As we said earlier, a few years ago, we would never have done this. So it really is a great pleasure, and good luck with whatever you do in the future.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe so you can keep up to date with new episodes. And if you like this and you think someone else would benefit from this, please share with your friends. Until next time, thank you very much.